If you're a coach, a consultant, maybe in financial services, basically, if you're a professional who has to generate your own business, you know the deal. You know that constant grind of needing more sales, more qualified leads. So today, we're going to break down a really simple weekly system designed to get you off that revenue roller coaster for good and start building real, sustainable momentum. It's called the Launch Point Momentum Index.
You know, it really all boils down to this one simple question you ask yourself every week. It's so easy to confuse being busy with being productive, right? You can have a whole week where you're just drifting. You're answering emails, you're shuffling papers, and you feel totally exhausted by Friday. But did you actually move the needle? The goal here isn't perfection, it's momentum. It's all about building real pressure inside your referral engine so it starts generating results predictably instead of just stalling out.
So how do we actually do that? How do we go from just random acts of hustle to a system that really works? Well, the Momentum Index is built on 3 core pillars that give you a complete, honest picture of your week.
Okay, so what you're looking at here is basically the whole process in a snapshot. First, you've got your engine. That's the main driver. Then you've got the activity, which is all about you showing up consistently. And finally, you get the results. But notice, that's a lagging indicator of the first 2. Let's break each of these down. First up, and this is the big one, is the EngagePro Engine. Think of this as all your proactive, get-out-there engagement activities. This actually accounts for a full 50% of your score. Now, why so much? Because these are the direct lead-generating actions that fuel your entire business. We're talking about things like consistently running at 2 a day, adding new people to your network, and proactively giving referrals to others. A 2 a day, for example, just means having 2 meaningful business conversations every single day. Maybe a coffee meeting with a potential client, and then a follow-up call with a referral partner. This right here, this is the fuel for the engine.
All right, let's move on to the second pillar and see how this builds. It's called showing up. This one's worth 30% of your score, and it is all about one thing: consistency. Did you have growth-focused workdays? Did you get to your networking meetings, or have those really important one-on-one conversations? And maybe most importantly, did you do the follow-ups? This pillar is all about measuring that consistent effort you need to turn potential energy into actual kinetic energy.
And finally, we have results, weighted at just 20%. And honestly, this is one of the most brilliant parts of the system. We're still tracking referrals you get and new clients you sign, but notice it's only 20%. That is completely intentional. Results are an output. They're a lagging indicator. You can't directly control getting a client today, but you can control the inputs. And that is a huge psychological shift. It moves you away from the anxiety of chasing outcomes and toward the empowerment of just executing a process. And that actually reduces your stress and makes you way more effective.
Okay, so we've got the 3 pillars, but how do we turn all this activity into a single powerful number that tells you exactly where you stand for the week? Believe it or not, it's this simple formula right here. All you do is score yourself from 0 to 10 in each of those 3 pillars based on how you did that week. Then you just multiply your EngagePro score by 5, your showing up score by 3, and your results score by 2. The weightings, remember, reflect how important they are: 50%, 30%, and 20%.
So let's just walk through a really quick example. Let's say you had a great week with your outreach. You had your 2-day conversations every single day, so you score your EngagePro an 8. Okay, that's 40 points right there. You were also super consistent. You went to 2 networking events, made all your follow-ups, so you give showing up a 7. That's another 21 points. And hey, you landed 1 new client as a result of your past work, so you score results a 6. That's 12 points. You add them all up, and you've got a momentum index of 73 for the week.
And here's the key. This isn't just abstract math floating in the air. It all ties back to a real concrete tool, the accountability scorecard. This is where you physically track the specific activities each week, the networking meetings, the new people you connected with, the referrals you gave out. So when it comes time to score yourself a 7 out of 10 for showing up, you're not just guessing. You're looking at your scorecard and seeing, yep, I hit my 2 networking meetings and made those calls. It totally replaces feelings with facts.
Now, having a score is great, but its real power comes from how you use it. And that brings us to what's called the Monday ritual. The whole goal is to start your week with total clarity, not guesswork. Every Monday, you sit down with your score from last week and ask these really critical questions. Did you build momentum, or did you just drift? Was that big win you had last week just random luck, or was it a direct result of the system you're running? This is all about honest reflection, and that honesty is the very first step in turning your score into your strategy for the week ahead.
Because, and this is so important,
The score isn't a grade. It's not about judging yourself or beating yourself up. It's a diagnostic tool that tells you exactly what to focus on this week.
And this slide just breaks it down perfectly. A score under 39 means your business is basically idle. You're drifting. From 40 to 59, you're building a foundation. Once you hit 60 to 79, you're accelerating. The momentum is real, you can feel it. And anything 80 or above, that's breakthrough territory. Your engine is just firing on all cylinders. Knowing which zone you're in tells you exactly what the health of your business is right now.
So what do you do with that information? Well, if your score is under 60, you diagnose. What held you back? Maybe your EngagePro score was a measly 3. You look at your scorecard and realize, wow, I only did my 2 a day once last week. Boom, that's your diagnosis. But you also diagnose the good weeks. If your score jumped 20 points, what changed? What specific behavior created that momentum so you can do it again?
And this, right here, this might be the most important part of the entire diagnosis. It's forward-focused. Based on your diagnosis, like that low EngagePro score, you ask this one simple question. It's not about a total overhaul of your business. That one action might just be, this week, I will block out 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. every single day specifically for my 2-a-day conversations. See how that becomes a concrete strategic action?
And that leads to the final step of the ritual, commitment lock-in. Based on your diagnosis, you decide on your non-negotiables for the week ahead. You make a clear, actionable commitment to yourself. And as a leader, even if you're just leading yourself, this reminder is crucial. Reward the discipline, not just the result. Celebrate the fact that you showed up consistently. All right, let's just zoom out for a second and talk about the core philosophy, the big idea that drives this entire system.
The most crucial point is this. It's about system over hustle. Hustle burns out. Hustle has a ceiling. A system builds. The goal isn't to work harder, it's to work smarter, by focusing on the inputs that predictably create the outputs you want. You're building a true performance culture for yourself and for your business.
So, to wrap it all up, the LaunchPoint Momentum Index is a simple weekly system that helps you build that sustainable momentum by focusing on your process, not just the results. By tracking your progress and using that Monday ritual to diagnose your performance, you can make these small little improvements that, over time, lead to absolutely huge results. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. Looking back over the last month, is your referral engine stronger today than it was 30 days ago?